Alright, hello everybody. I am just recording this video to present my 2019 NFL mock draft. I've been doing a lot of research into the college to NFL transition that's going on, and I just wanted to put it out there just to show how I feel the first round will go. This is just a first round mock draft, and that's about as far as I would go. Maybe in the future I'll start doing 1 through 3 as I deep dive more. I've developed an interest in football over the past little while. And yeah, so here we go. Let's just start it off with the obvious Arizona at number 1, taking Kyler Murray. I don't see it really going any other way unless Oakland tries to move up to take this pick. But with Mayock in the GM role, I just see Oakland valuing those first round picks a little too much to really give them up. And I think they'd be happy with taking their picks this round instead of moving up to get Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray makes the most sense for Arizona as their offensive line has been decimated over the past few years, and they clearly can't give Rosen the protection that he needs in order to fully develop as a quarterback. That being said, I do think Josh Rosen has potential for a bright future in the NFL. Do I think it's with Arizona? No. Do I think he's worth a high second round pick? Yes. First round pick? Maybe no. But I put his potential at a lot greater than most of the quarterbacks on this board this year. I think if you look at that one game that he had against A&M, the crazy points overtime madness game, that if you look at that game, you can definitely see the potential in Rosen. So yeah, I think it's worth taking a shot on for a few teams, but maybe not for a first round pick. Maybe a low first or a high second, I think is getting about the right value for Josh Rosen. All right, so Kyler Murray, Arizona Cardinals. Next pick, we got the San Francisco 49ers. I got them selecting Nick Bosa off the edge. They could go with an offensive pick, but they're still developing their defense. I think they want to get into a more defensive toughness. They've had a couple key injuries, so having depth in their defense, particularly forcing the quarterback to put up some bad throws, definitely something they're into. He's probably the best player on the board overall as far as metrics and talent goes. So yeah, I don't see Bosa slipping anywhere past here. Okay, for my third pick, I got the New York Jets, kind of going a little bit off the map here. If you would consider taking DK Metcalf at the third pick as a little bit of a riskier move, which is what I see them doing. I just think that DK Metcalf and his metrics and his size and his speed, I think if you were all those drafts ago with Calvin Johnson, I think the comparables are there. And if you say to me you have the potential of having the next Calvin Johnson on your team, and I look like a team like New York Jets where they clearly have confidence in Darnold as they're starting to bolster their offense with additions in Le'Veon Bell. I think they have confidence in them and they want to leave him with no excuses left at poor performance. So they got a decent defense, a pretty stout defense. I think they want to really go over the top here and try and pull off as much offensive playmaking ability as they can. And I got the Jets reaching here on Metcalf. I know a lot of people don't see Metcalf sliding past, I know a lot of people see Metcalf staying around until like the 7th or 8th pick. I just see the Jets reaching here. I'm trying to put myself in their shoes and adding Metcalf with Anderson and then Enunwa. That's a pretty good trio of receivers right there, and that leaves Darnold with no excuse for not getting the job done. And then they see where they're at after that. For the number 4 pick, I have Oakland selecting Quinnen Williams from Bama. Inside defensive lineman. I just think they really need to beef up that defense first and foremost. They just signed Antonio Brown, have a good quarterback, maybe not great yet, but who knows where Derek Carr will be a couple years from now with Antonio Brown. I just think Oakland will really value getting some BPAs, some prototypical talent with their picks here, and really solidifying that defense and making Oakland a more defensive threat than they are currently right now or have been in the last little while. Number 5, I got Tampa selecting Jawan Taylor, the offensive tackle out of Florida. Now, pretty self-explanatory. Tampa could use the help protecting Jameis Winston. We all know he's not really the type of quarterback that can force it in there on his first read if he has a tight window. So they're going to need some help protecting Jameis, since clearly they're invested in him a lot. They think Bruce Arians can turn things around for the guy. So I just think they should give him a little bit of protection. He is a high BPA, good metrics all across the board. So I think they scoop Jawan Taylor right over here. And for the number 6 pick, I have the New York Giants taking Josh Allen off the edge. Giants, terrible defense, terrible offense all the way around. They should be looking at taking the best available player. They can use help in a lot of different aspects. The edge is one of those aspects. They could definitely use some help creating pressure and forcing up some bad throws. Their corners and safeties seem to be more of a strong point for them. So I think pressure is where they're gonna really start to build their team around. You think with traditional Giants success that they've always had guys that can get force pressure and make quarterbacks uncomfortable. Number 7, I have the Jacksonville Jaguars selecting the tight end Noah Fant out of Iowa. They need help. They need help in this area. I think that this tight end class is one of the deeper classes in the past since Gronk draft class. So yeah, I just see the Jacksonville Jaguars taking a shot on Fant. Had great numbers for Iowa, and considering Iowa isn't really known for their offensive prowess, let's just say, I think Fant putting up the kinds of numbers he did and the kinds of metrics he has really separates him from the pack. And then number 8, I have the Detroit Lions taking Brian Burns off the edge. Again, the third edge that I have going off the board. I think these guys are just, that's the last edge I took in the first half of the draft anyways. I just think these guys are, have amazing numbers, great metrics, and the lines, we know they could use the help at defense. They have pretty good corners and good safety help. They just need to start forcing up those mistakes, and Brian Burns would be a solid pick for them. A lot of people have him as a 5th ranked overall BPA. I have him sliding a little bit here because of the reaches that I think other teams will take. I think Lions will be happy getting a guy like this. And at number 9, I have the Buffalo Bills taking Cody Ford, the offensive tackle from Oklahoma. We all seen how well Oklahoma did in the passing game, and Cody Ford definitely one of those pieces that helped protect Kyler Murray and really helped Oklahoma become the offensive juggernaut that they were. Number 10, I have the Denver Nuggets going QB here and taking Dwayne Haskins. I think he fits the mold, the Elway mold that Elway likes his quarterbacks to be. Big guy who can sling the ball, pocket passer. I think his numbers were great. It's a little bit of a risk. I definitely think this is a light QB light draft, and I think he's maybe the only other guy that is worth taking a top 10 pick on. Denver's got Flacco's getting up there in age. I think Denver's got to start grooming for the future, and they have literally nothing else to go off of. All of their prior picks have been busts, and they need to just accept that as failure and get someone new in there. I like Haskins going to Denver and not sliding past Denver, even though some people have him going later in the draft. Okay. Number 11, I have the Cincinnati Bengals taking Devin White, the linebacker out of LSU, clearly with a restructuring of the Bengals defense, getting rid of Burfict, and the Bengals wanting to present a new identity. I think Devin White's the type of guy that can give that tough inside presence that's going to be lacking without Burfict. Okay, number 12. I have the Green Bay Packers selecting Ed Oliver, the inside defensive lineman out of Houston. I just think the Packers could. Their defense has been okay. It hasn't been terrible. I think Ed Oliver is sliding down to 12 is a gift for them, and they should just take it. University of Houston had great D-line play. Ed Oliver, definitely a big reason for that. Great metrics, and should really help Green Bay beef up that defensive interior. Now at number 13, I have the Miami Dolphins taking Jeffrey Simmons, also from the inside defensive lineman position. Great job in Mississippi State. I see Miami trying to. They got a lot of decent offensive pieces. I just see them trying to maybe be more of a force to be reckoned with. Seems like a great BPA pick. Okay, number 14, that would be Atlanta. I have them taking Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, safety from Florida. Atlanta can get lit up from time to time, and they usually like taking those type of safety guys that can really force mistakes and being that type of team that can get takeaways and turnovers again. Okay, number 15, Washington Redskins. I have them taking Hakeem Butler, the wide receiver from Iowa State University. I think that Washington has had some some bad luck in the wide receiver department, and I think this guy's just too. He's just too good and has too many metrics pointing in his direction. The fact that he was able to do what he did with Iowa State and put up the types of numbers that he put up with Iowa State is particularly impressive. And if it were not for Metcalf and his insane measurables, that Hakeem Butler would probably be the number one wide receiver on the board this draft class. Number 16, I have the Carolina Panthers selecting the tight end TJ Hawkinson, the other Iowa tight end TJ Hawkinson. We all know that after the retirement of Olsen, and that they haven't had a suitable replacement, and the type of dynamic that having a good tight end can provide to Carolina, it would be very beneficial for them to take one of these tight ends. I know traditionally we haven't seen tight ends go off the board this early, but I actually have another tight end going in the first round. I think that this is the type of draft where you can really beef up at that position, particularly if you're in the first round and needing that position. It's very underrated to have a good, valuable, solid, reliable tight end, and the type of dynamic they can provide to your offense is extremely beneficial, especially when you have guys like Fant and Hawkinson coming in with these incredible measurements, speed, and touchdown ability. So let's go with number 17. I have the Giants taking Daniel Jones, the quarterback out of Duke here. They already had their BPA guy at number 6 with Josh Allen. I think they're primed for a little bit of a reach here. I don't think Daniel Jones might not get back to them on the turn. I feel that the Giants, from what the Giants have been saying, Daniel Jones is the type of guy that they feel that they could groom behind Eli while they're still embracing their tank at the moment. And, maybe he'd be ready to go in a couple years from now. Maybe not, but they have to start making moves now with the emergence of Saquon Barkley. They're not going to have him available at their disposal forever, so they need to start thinking about the future immediately, and Daniel Jones probably the next best guy for them. That's considering that they don't end up having a real big reach for Dwayne Haskins at that 6th pick, but I just see Haskins at 6 as too much. He has too much bust possibility for them to risk giving up a guy like Josh Allen, who has maybe extremely low bust possibility. And I just see you could go either way. Maybe they take the BPA guy here at 17 instead of and take Haskins with their early pick, but I see it as way more valuable if they take a QB here and then really take the BPA guy at 6, which, I mean, considering Arizona has to reach, is like we're talking, they're getting like a top 5 pick for sure, top 4, or sometimes even top 3 in some people's mocks with Josh Allen. Okay. Okay, number 18. I have the Minnesota Vikings selecting Garrett Bradbury, the inside offensive lineman from NC State. I'm not going to really go into too much here. Kirk Cousins obviously could use as much time as he can get back there in that pocket. They bought their asset, now they need to start protecting him. Garrett Bradbury's a great value pick over here at 18. Many have him in the 15 range. I like that pickup here. So number 19, we have the Tennessee Titans, and I have the Tennessee Titans selecting Michigan Wolverines linebacker Devin Bush Jr. They could use a guy like Bush Jr., making that defense even more vicious than it is. Part of the reason why I don't have them selecting a major offensive piece at this position is that I don't see much value in doing that. Not right now. There's too many like good high level defensive prospects for them. They could use a good, quick, off the tackle guy. Devin Bush's measurables are off the charts. You can always use a great linebacker, and for the type of linebacker he is and the type of success that he had at Michigan, we all know that a large product of what went into Michigan was their defense, because their offense was often what held them back. Devin Bush Jr., a great tackling linebacker that can just stop and really reduce the yards after catch. I think he's a stout defender, really fit in that Tennessee system. Number 20, I have Clemson product Clelin Ferrell off the edge, going to Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh, their defense was absolutely awful last year. This is a straight BPA play. If there was a BPA, if there was a corner or safety that I felt was the better high end potential, I would take them. Just Pittsburgh can use all the help they can get defensively, and need to start rebuilding that team from the defense and up, and then kind of finding their offensive pieces later. The Seattle Seahawks have the 21st pick in the 2019 NFL Draft. I have them taking Greedy Williams, LSU cornerback. I think this is the first cornerback that I have coming off the board, even though I think it is a deep draft at the corner position. Typically, you just don't see corners going in the top 15 range. Seattle, obviously, they need to beef up that defense. They need to start playing Seahawks defense, and they just paid Russell Wilson all that money. They clearly have to do some rebuilding after the departure of the Legion of Boom, and I think Greedy Williams is a great place to start. So at number 22, I have Baltimore selecting the offensive tackle Jonah Williams from Alabama. A Bama guy, so obviously measurables off the chart. I think that they're not going to be able to have success at the next level, Baltimore Ravens and Lamar Jackson, if they can't get him to pass. Even at even at their most run heavy, they're like what 60. They still have 60% run. They still have to pass the ball on occasion. Otherwise, they're just going to be too one-dimensional, and Lamar Jackson is going to have no success. So I see them beefing up that O-line here with the Bama boy and getting Jonah Williams here, the stud offensive tackle. Okay, at number 23, I have the Houston Texans selecting Christian Wilkins, the inside D lineman from Clemson. Kind of a prototypical, stereotypical Houston pick, trying to get that D line back to the days of viciousness where they were instilling fear in the hearts of their offensive opponents. I have them taking the Clemson guy here. No need to be said with a guy coming from a Clemson or Bama system that their measurables are going to be off the charts, and no exception to that here with Christian Wilkins. I see Houston needing some more defensive pieces to give Deshaun Watson, the best possible chance for success that they can. Okay, let's go to number 24 now. I have the Oakland Raiders selecting cornerback Byron Murphy from Washington. A lot of people argue whether it's him or Greedy Williams at the top cornerback spot in this year's draft. You could argue either one. I just think I had Greedy Williams going to Seahawks. I think he kind of fits their style more, and I think Byron Murphy, Oakland, him falling to the Raiders. The Raiders will be really happy with that pick, and can really start to build that build Raiders defense, and which I think Raiders defense has a large emphasis on the cornerback position, and they'll definitely want to get a cornerback, either this pick or the 27th pick. I have them picking it up right here and getting Byron Murphy, the easy, obvious play. A lot of people can have him going as high as like 18. But I have them falling a little bit here with the de-emphasis on the cornerbacks traditionally in NFL drafts. Now, number 25, I have the Philadelphia Eagles going a bit of a reach here and taking running back Darrell Henderson from Memphis. I know a lot of people are really low on the running back class this year, but I think there's a scheme fit. He fits Philadelphia really well. His numbers were off the charts. His measurables, his speed is really solid. He's my number one running back on the board right now. I know a lot of these running backs aren't catchbacks that have the ability to catch the pass at a high frequency, but I don't see that being a problem in Philly, where they're probably more wanting a guy that can punch through the line here. So I just think clearing away numbers, measurable speed, etc., that Darrell Henderson has one of the highest potentials of the running backs in this draft class. I have Philly reaching a little bit, as they're pretty good. Philadelphia in a lot of other regards. Running back is definitely a weak point for them, so why not reach on who you think is the best running back in this draft class? I think it's Darrell Henderson. Number 26, I have the Indianapolis Colts selecting Montez Sweat off the edge, the next edge guy to come off the board. So that's 4 edge guys so far in the first round. Montez Sweat from Mississippi State. Indy's doing okay right now. They're going in a good direction, and if Luck's going to keep getting healthier and not having any injuries, and they're going to want to really get that defense in order. Montez Sweat, a great value pick that'll fall to them around the 26 range, hopefully for their sake. And number 27, the Oakland Raiders with their 3rd pick in the first round via the Dallas Cowboys. We trade for Amari Cooper. So at the 27 range, I have them taking Dalton Risner, the offensive tackle from Kansas State. Probably a good Mayock pick. I think Gruden will approve of it. A good piece in the offensive line to really help Derek Carr. We all know that the line was an issue for Derek Carr. I just really see them beefing up that O-line, and it's a great BPA pick. They'll be glad to have. So for the Raiders, I have them going Risner, Murphy, and Quinnen Williams. So Quinnen Williams, Risner, and Murphy, 1, 2, 3 in the draft. You're really looking like you have a formidable defense if these guys even live up to half the hype that's been spouted about them. Okay, so let's go with after the Oakland pick. Number 28 would be the LA Chargers, and I have them taking safety Nasir Adderley from Delaware. Just adding to that already stout defense. They obviously got lit up in the playoffs by Tom Brady, and the secondary is clearly an area where the Chargers are going to need some beefing up in if they're going to make a serious run at the Super Bowl and getting through that AFC, especially with the emergence of KC and Patrick Mahomes. Okay, speaking of KC and Patrick Mahomes, the number 29th pick, I have them taking Jerry Tillery, the inside D lineman from Notre Dame. Pretty self-explanatory. KC just offenses just having their way with this defense. Jerry Tillery's a BPA guy that can really have the measurables to really start to create a change in culture at the defensive side of the ball over there in KC. Number 30, the Green Bay Packers via the New Orleans trade. I have them taking Chris Lindstrom, inside offensive lineman from Boston College. Obviously, you got Aaron Rodgers there, and despite the fact that he's more the type of guy to create on the run, I don't think you want him necessarily out there running for his life out there to make a play. But considering the type of system BC ran, I think Lindstrom would be more susceptible to being able to be valuable at the offensive line position for a type of guy like Rodgers that's going to be scrambling a lot and going to be playing off the run a little bit more. I see Boston College was doing that, and he had to produce at that sort of level with Boston College and playing more off the fly. his measurables are great. It's a great pickup for them. I've seen a lot of people had him around the 25, 24 range. So Green Bay should be happy with a guy like this. Okay, 31, LA Rams. I have them selecting Eric McCoy, Texas A&M inside offensive lineman. Pretty self-explanatory. I think a good BPA guy, and I think if the Rams are going anywhere, they need to get as much time as possible for Goff to throw that ball. And for the number 32 pick, the New England Patriots, I have them filling the Gronk void with Alabama guy Irv Smith Jr., the tight end, filling that tight end need that Gronk provided. His measurables are off the chart, and I think considering the type of team he was playing for, the numbers that he put up for Alabama, not typically known for great offense. The type of numbers he put up in that system, where they're more predicated on defensive dominance than offensive success, is particularly impressive. That's the third tight end I have going in this draft, which is insane because you would not think that 3 tight ends would drop in draft. I just see these guys being really high-end plays, and if they pan out, then you could be set for the next 10 years at a position that has very high volatility. We even seen, like in Cincinnati with a guy like Tyler Eifert, just how much his presence has helped Cincy, and they're like a completely different team when they don't have him in. So like I said, it's a pretty undervalued at times position that if you can fill with a solid, reliable guy, that your offense can really start to become dynamic. Okay, that's it. 1 through 32, my first round mock draft. I'm just going to go over it again real quickly. Arizona, I have them taking Kyler Murray at 1. Number 2, San Fran, Nick Bosa. Number 3, DK Metcalf to the Jets. Number 4, Quinnen Williams to the Oakland Raiders. Number 5, Jawan Taylor to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Number 6, Josh Allen to the New York Giants. Number 7, Noah Fant to the Jacksonville Jaguars. 8, I have the Detroit Lions taking Brian Burns. Number 9, Buffalo taking Cody Ford. 10, I have Denver taking Dwayne Haskins. Number 11, I have Cincinnati taking Devin White. Number 12, I have Green Bay taking Ed Oliver. Number 13, I have Miami taking Jeffrey Simmons. Number 14, I have Chauncey Gardner-Johnson going to the Atlanta Falcons. Number 15, I have Hakeem Butler going to the Redskins. Number 16, TJ Hawkinson going to the Carolina Panthers. Number 17, Daniel Jones going to the New York Giants. Number 18, Garrett Bradbury going to Minnesota Vikings. Number 19, Devin Bush Jr. going to the Tennessee Titans. Number 20, Clelin Ferrell going to the Pittsburgh Steelers. 21, Greedy Williams going to the Seattle Seahawks. 22, Jonah Williams going to Baltimore. 23, Christian Wilkins going to Houston Texans. Number 24, I have Byron Murphy going to the Oakland Raiders. Number 25, I have Darrell Henderson going to Philadelphia Eagles. Number 26, I have Montez Sweat going to the Indianapolis Colts. Number 27, I have Dalton Reisner going to the Oakland Raiders. Number 28, I have Nazir Adderley going to the LA Chargers. Number 29, I have Jerry Tillery going to the Kansas City Chiefs. Number 30, I have Chris Lindstrom going to the Green Bay Packers. Number 31, I have Eric McCoy going to the LA Rams. And number 32, Irv Smith Jr. to the New England Patriots. Okay, thanks for watching. That was my 2019 NFL mock draft for the first round. See ya.